That's a nice coffee. Hey everybody, how's it going? We're back for another episode of Where's Your Head At? I'm Adrian, Trash Panda person.
I'm Katie, I'm also a Trash Panda person. We're here today with James from She Burns Red. James, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hey, I'm James. I play bass and I sing in She Burns Red. I used to sing in a band called the Blacklights, which some people may know me from also. And I also write comics. I'm an award-winning comic writer of the comic City of Lost Souls. I've also done Little Girl Black, Kid Monkey. I work on the Grime and Comic House as well. I think I've done more, but I can't remember them. Transylvania Nights, Camp VO7, and there's more coming too. So.
Those are the ones that come to mind.
Yeah, they're the ones that I've remembered.
There's quite a few though, to be fair.
Yeah, and they're all great. They're all really good read.
Yeah.
Well, the ones I've got. I think I've got a few to catch up on.
Yeah. They're all piled neatly for like perfect toilet reading, not in a like bad way, but like
No, but that's what you want. You want a book to be like, that's the classic
enjoyable.
work of a good book. I mean, you can pick it up any time.
Yeah.
Like,
So we've got like a lovely wee pile. But we're not here to discuss toilet read, sorry. So obviously with Where's Your Head At, we're just kind of talking to people and seeing how they're feeling mentally, like over the past year. It's obviously been challenging to say the least, and we are approaching that year mark as well from COVID. So how have you been feeling? How's things been going for you?
Up and down. Really is the probably best way to do it. I've started doing this thing and I'm trying to get better at it, but like people will talk to, like my wife will talk to me and like I won't reply because I've replied in my head and I forget that I have to do it out loud now because I'm so used to being by myself.
Okay.
Because I'm studying from home. I'm a student nurse and my whole day is just spent on the computer studying, and then I go to work and my work has like 2 people at it 1 day a week. So, and we don't really talk because I'm normally doing uni work while I'm at work as well because it's quite quiet where I'm working at the moment. So there's a whole lot of not talking to people. So that's really isolated. I just feel really isolated. So it's really hard. The last week I had a really bad week. This week I'm all right.
So you've got like the isolation on top of doing your studying and being just detached from everything. That's going on.
I mean, we've only been in uni 1 day. And it was a great day though because it meant I got to talk to someone else that was in the group, and that made so we can message each other now, and that's good because before that I was literally just struggling by myself, not knowing anyone because I'm 43. A lot of the people in my course are really young, and you can't really be like, "Hey, young girl, I'm a 43-year-old man. I'm going to come and talk to you because we're on the same course," and that's not creepy at all. So.
Just some things you should.
Yeah, exactly. That's just comes across as creepy. And I mean, even in the best intentions of trying to help people out or whatever in group chats and stuff, I just feel like I come across like a fucking old man. Even though I'm not, I just fully aware that I am. And
just in that group context.
Just in that context, in that context, it's weird because it's different here. Like you're chatting to everyone, and if they know you, then they're it's all right. He's all right. It's not anything to worry about. But
so there's that concern.
Yeah.
So it's good when you get out and about. And
it's really good. It's really weird. I hate supermarkets now. Supermarkets are a place of fear and dread.
Yeah.
Especially the people that with the masks down. I'm like, I've worked because obviously during this I worked in COVID wards and stuff because I worked for the NHS as well.
Right.
So I there was one place I was working that had at least 30 people die over a 3-month period. So that was really hard. And I'm still kind of suffering kind of a bit of PTSD from that, I suppose. And I'm specifically, that's why I'm working where I am now because I didn't want to go back on the wards and go through that kind of stuff. So that was really heavy. That's a bit of a downer in the conversation.
How did you find dealing with all that kind of the death and everything that was happening?
It was really hard because normally that's where music comes in. Like normally you go in music and you let out all your feelings and you let everything go and everything you've held on to that week that's kind of getting you down or whatever, you just let it all go in the practice room that week or you go to the gig and you and that's it gone. When you don't have that, it kind of builds up and builds up and builds up and builds up and just becomes this massive weight, like the metaphorical weight that kind of makes it hard for you to get up in the morning. So yeah, it was hard. It took a long time to actually get through it. If it wasn't for like my wife and going for walks with the dog and trying to make the most of it because we had a nice summer, and if it wasn't for that, I think it would have been a lot worse for me. But definitely having a nice summer meant that it wasn't quite as bad. You weren't dealing with it well because you knew the next time you went in, it's like there would be a list of the new dead people, which sounds really, which is brutal as fuck. And you're like,
reality.
that's the
life,
reality of the situation. Yeah. So, I mean, like, because I've had a lot of mental health problems in the past. I've had a couple of mental health breakdowns, and that's how I know I'm in a better place now, because I've managed to get through this and still be relatively okay. You know, I'm aware when I'm going downhill now. So, like,
so you can identify it. You can...
Yeah. So, like, at the start of the week, I had a really bad day on Monday, and I was trying to do a demo. We're doing demos for She Burns Red just now as well, and I was trying to do them, and I just couldn't do anything because we're doing it all online, and it was really hard to do it by myself, and I was really struggling. And then when I woke up on Tuesday morning, there was a moment where I was like, I could just lie in bed. Yeah. But I knew that if I lay in bed, that would be me. That would be the start of the slope. So I got up and I done my yoga, and I just worked out slowly bit by bit, and then I done little bit by little bit by little bit. And everything that I tried to do the previous day that was really hard was suddenly really easy because I was in the better frame of mind. So I done everything that I was meant to do the day before in about 2 minutes, which was even more frustrating. But it wasn't really because it meant that I knew that it was because mentally I wasn't all there.
Getting your yoga in as well.
I mean, that's definitely, I mean, because it helps my back as well, because I had a back operation a few years ago. I had a discectomy, which is always good. It's a nice word, because I was nearly paralysed, obviously. But yeah, and that's how I know I'm mentally quite strong now compared to what I used to be like, because I went through that and I was okay. Like mentally, I was okay, even though I was bedridden for like 6 weeks or something. I was all right, and I came through the end of it. You know, I wasn't that low, but like in the past, I've had a lot of problems mentally. Yeah.
You said that like music used to, obviously when you could rehearse and when you could do gigs and stuff, it was a big help. But have you found in the past, also obviously before, has that been one of your outlets? So I know you're saying now you've obviously got yoga and walks and stuff, so you're making the best of what you have.
I mean, it definitely has. I mean, sometimes like that was one of the problems I had with the black lights at one point, is when my mental health got really bad. One thing I'm really bad at when my mental health gets bad is I push people away.
Yeah.
And I'm really bad at it, and I do it really bad. I do it in a really almost violent way, so that like there's friendships I don't have anymore that I had back then. And when I left the black lights, it was I was really bad, and I remember because I was taken to hospital and stuff like that, and all this kind of stuff, and I had these people like come and visit me down the road, and let me think, where was I going with that? Yeah, so when I was actually playing with the black lights, I couldn't handle I didn't want to be a singer anymore. That's why I'm a bassist now. That's one of the reasons I started playing bass, because I couldn't handle being at the front.
Right.
So the last black lights gig we done before the reunion gig, which was fucking amazing, and I loved it. Pardon my language.
It's okay, you're allowed to swear.
All right, thank goodness. But yeah, I'd started drinking at 12 o'clock because I thought it was the only way I was going to get through that gig. So like I started drinking at 12 o'clock, and like I remember I've heard since then a lot of people really worried about me because they see me and I just look wired to the moon. I was just out of it. I was completely gone. I was not on this earth at that point in time. But that was right in the middle of it. That was right after I'd just had a mental breakdown, and it was really, really bad. It took me a good couple of years to get out of it. Like,
aye.
So it was in your younger years, like when, I don't know when you started to become aware of your mental health, was music originally an outlet and kind of maybe became more negative being in the front spot, so that's why you've moved back?
Yeah, I mean, like music's always been the best outlet for me, and that's why I started the comics. The comics kind of took over at that point, because I need something creative to get out, right? I need that's the whole thing. When I'm feeling low, I need something creative to help me get out, and when the music doesn't work, that's when the comics came in. So it was during this period of my really bad mental health, my music wasn't doing it for me anymore. That's when the comics came in, and I started writing comics all the time. And then because She Burns Red was just a slow build, there was no pressure, because there was a lot of pressure on the Black Lights, because we were never like a massive band, but we were quite big for the local area. We played some good big support slots and stuff like that, and there was quite a bit of pressure, you know, on the band. I felt a lot of pressure on the band. So it was good to be in something that had no pressure at all, and I could just turn up and play bass and slink in the background. I sing more now than I'm comfortable with, because I started singing more bits. But that was never the intention. The intention was just me sit in the background and play bass and just enjoy playing music again. And that's what it kind of brought me. It brought me this thing where I could enjoy playing music with some friends again and find it as a happy place, which was important, because it's been there. I started playing gigs my first gig was when I was like 15 at like I think I said this other week, it was like this table tennis dance hall in Vermont, like, you know, where it was like done for dancing. There was mirrors, and then you played table tennis there, and it was the worst acoustics ever. We were like set up in the corner, and with my tie-dye Guns N' Roses t-shirts and a pair of fucking Bermuda shorts on, you know what I mean?
But something went well that day, because you kept going.
You know, but I mean, that was the beginning. That was the very first gig, you know, and that was and it was an amazing feeling, and that's that feeling that I've done ever since. I don't know what I would do without it, like, you know, because I mean, obviously I'm 43 now, and people are like, you know, is there ever going to be a time where you stop doing it? I'm like, no. If anything, actually, that She Burns Red are we keep on doing better, and we're doing really well. We've done the EP recently with Toby Jepson, who I used to have a picture of him by my bedroom wall when I was a kid, so that was really fucking bizarre. Going to meet him, because we went to meet him to talk about doing the EP, and it was when his band were supporting Living Colour, which were another one of my favourite bands growing up. So then he was like, oh yeah, just come through. So we're chatting to like Toby Jepson, which was weird enough, and then went through it, and then Living Colour were sound checking, and I was just like, this is the weirdest fucking day of my life. But that's one of those things that because my mental health had bad moments like that, I always take a minute to appreciate those moments.
Yeah.
And you always take a minute to sit back and go, right, this is a moment that's not going to happen very often, so I need to sit back and enjoy this moment for what it is, so that I can remember that. It's the thing. It's the Matt Haig book, Reasons to Stay Alive. I don't know if you've read that.
No.
It's fucking brilliant. It's definitely worth a read, because he talks about his mental health journey as well. And that's one of the things he says is like, you need to remember the good times, because you need to remember them mainly because you've been bad, but you've came up this time that's really good again. So even if you get bad again, you're like, I was really bad that time, and I came up to this point, so I know that could happen again, and it's something to cling on to, you know. And when your mental health gets to that kind of level, you need that thing to crawl onto. You need that something to grab onto for dear life. At times, you know, you're just holding on like I just need to get through this day. I just need to get through this day. And then it's I just need to get through this hour, sometimes this minute, you know, whatever. You just kind of, you know, you feel it on you.
That's great advice, definitely, because sometimes when you're in those dark places, the good times seem so far away, and you don't remember them. They don't come to your. They're not in the forefront of your mind at that point as well. So
especially this year. Especially this year, because I mean that's one thing I've seen a lot more people share Facebook memories this year, and social media is normally, I think, social media can be a very negative thing, but this year it's been the only way to talk to people.
And
it's the only way to communicate with people, the only way to remember the good times, the only way to remember to look forward to the next times, because people are posting, remember that gig, that was amazing, wait till the next gig. Because I think one of the things we need to remember is that every day we're deeper in this is a day closer to the end of it.
Especially now that there might be some things happening.
Yeah, I mean, the vaccine seems to be working for people. I mean, I know for a fact that there's less, I don't know if I should say this, but basically there's less testing needing to go on now in care homes. Like to the extent where beforehand we were having to go into care homes like weekly to test everyone in the care home, and now it's slowly starting to come back a bit. Like they're because of the vaccinations and stuff like that. So it's not. So it's definitely working to that extent, and within care homes. So if it's working within care homes, I don't see why it can't work for the rest of the society, you know.
Especially with them being the most vulnerable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know.
Get your vaccines.
I'm getting my second one next week.
Yeah.
So.
We are pro-vaccine.
Oh, very pro-vaccine.
yeah.
You know.
We're not one of the. We're not one of the scary
don't look at YouTube. That's wrong.
No.
YouTube doesn't actually know what it's talking about.
And neither do the Facebook doctors.
Yeah.
Make sure you subscribe and ring the bell for
I'm
YouTube.
we're talking about YouTube ones on that. It's like, listen to immunologists and doctors. Don't listen to Dave. The butcher from, you know, wherever, in his car getting angry about something.
Who read a post on the Sun and you're like, that's not.
Done all his research.
Yeah, done his research on the dark web.
On the dark web,
Because that's the place you go for research.
I think every week now we start to lose ourselves in those, but you're like, no. Sorry, we'll go back on track. But one thing you said before was that when you used to struggle, you push people away.
Yeah.
So out of curiosity, now that you know yourself better and you've managed to control this a lot better, how do you open up to people now? Do you notice when other people are struggling maybe?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm definitely much more aware of my surroundings now, and much more aware of what I think when you have suffered from depression, you see it in other people. You do see it in other people, and you see that kind of whole. And you know that you can help them in some way. Well, if you think you can help them, you're more willing to go over and like talk to them. And it's not like cheer up kind of thing. You know, it's like if you see a friend and you can tell by what they're saying online that something's not quite right, you can reach out to them, and you know that, and they know that you've had those problems as well, so they feel like they can talk to you. I think that's more, definitely the kind of thing. What was the question again? Was that right? Was that okay?
It was.
I'm not sure if I answered it.
It was
or not,
just like, have you found that people have been coming to you as well more with this, or?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, there's some random people, like, sometimes, like, you know, just message me. Like, there was a guy that messaged me from the uni, actually, just the other day, because he was feeling the same as me, and we were on this group chat thing, and he saw me, and he's like, right, you look like you know, what was his exact word, was like, you look like you know, if I was to say, Nine Inch Nails song sounds like two robots having sex. You look like you know what I was talking about. And I'm like, yeah, I totally do. Yeah. So it's like, because he was like me, where he's like, he didn't want to start messaging people because everyone, like most of them are young girls, or kind of like women that have been around the world enough to not trust men in that way. Random men messaging them. You know what I mean? I know that sounds really bad, but you know, if you're a woman and you're online, then if a random guy messages you, you're not messaging back because that's fucking weird.
And you never open the photos.
And you never do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's weird.
Never click on the photo. Never.
Don't be sending the photos.
You know, I don't know what's wrong with this kind of weird online guy. This
culture.
Things that you know, this whole culture of men that are just misogynistic weirdos that just feel to get a thrill off it. And it's the most bizarre thing ever. Yeah. But yeah, because of that, and so we were laughing about that. And I was like, because if it wasn't for that day that I went in, I might not even be studying anymore because I met people that I kind of got on with.
Well, that's good.
But because it's you know, you don't have much money because you're on a bursary, and you're still working to try and make enough money to live while you're also studying in like biology. I hate biology. I've always hated studying biology. Fuck biology in the nicest way possible. And then, but you've got to do this fucking massive biology unit, and it's like, I
like the Wookiee noise.
I know, right? That's the way. And I mean, genuinely, I was reading it, and I would do the lecture, and then there'd be questions after it. I was like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
I've done the work and I've done the lecture. You're asking me things I know I just learned, but I have absolutely no fucking idea because you're just watching a screen and it's different. Like if you're in an environment, a learning environment. Sorry, I'm going to be learning environment. It's not about music. This one.
It's fine.
But if you're in a learning environment, when you're talking to someone, you take things in because you remember things. You remember like even stupid things like, oh, that person sneezed when they said that, so I remember that. Or the person might say a silly word instead of the right word, and you'll suddenly remember it. But when you're just looking at a screen with poor audio quality, and you know, because it's literally someone in their house with a crappy webcam talking to it, and you're trying to pay attention to it, and then the dog's barking, the cat's wanting it all the time, and it's not conducive to a good learning environment.
No,
put it that way.
I think as well. So obviously we've seen like with the schools trying to go back now and things, and obviously you're a dad as well. So have you seen the impact on young people as well through like your kids and things? Have you seen how they've reacted to this and the lack of? You're saying like for your classroom learning it's challenging. Have you
I mean,
on
like
them and stuff
any person that is a parent right now trying to work out Microsoft Teams, it's a nightmare. Because there's like it makes no sense because there's like 5 folders. And there's one folder that should have everything in it, but never always has everything. And you've got to go different folders for different things, and it loads really slowly. Yeah. And it's a nightmare. So it's hard. So the kids, they're not like people are like. It's a lost generation. They're not really learning. It's like if they can fucking work out how to work Microsoft Teams, they're doing quite well. Because that thing, it's just the way they've set it up is just
minefield.
Total minefield. Try to set it up for Lucas, who's 8.
Yeah.
He's 9. Sorry, shit.
It's good. We've lost a year, to be fair. We have lost a year. I'm not counting my last birthday. Like
I know. Oh, is that right? Okay. Oh, fuck, I should maybe do that.
Yeah, I'm still 30.
But you know, fuck, it's just really hard for them. And obviously the teachers are doing their best, and the teachers are doing everything they can. The teachers are doing a great job.
Yeah.
And they get kind of slagged off or whatever by some people sometimes.
There's only so much.
But there's only so much you can do when you're literally talking to a screen. You've got like 15 minutes in the morning or half an hour in the morning with the teacher, and they set your work. And your work might be like watch a newsround video, watch a video about the Forth Road Bridge and draw a picture. And what kind of bridge would you build if you were doing bridges and stuff like that. But it's really hard. Learning online is really hard. It must be really hard for kids. And I know, for example, my stepdaughter, her mental health has suffered quite a lot during this time because she's trying to deal with her hires just now. While learning online. I couldn't even imagine how hard it would be to do hires and like, you know, person. And as well, she's doing a photography module, so she's trying to do that online, trying to do photography online, and it's like, but now she's
one of the most practical subjects you can.
So she's actually back in school next week because it's a practical. No, actually tomorrow because it's a practical subject, so they're getting other practical lessons back.
So they're getting back.
But no, it's a really hard. I can't imagine how hard it must be for kids, and I know a lot of kids are really struggling with their mental health. And the problem is that a lot of the kids aren't mature enough to know that's what the problem is.
Yeah,
and it's not an indictment of kids or anything like that. It's just because it took me fucking. I had a mental breakdown in my mid-30s, and I didn't know. I didn't realize it was happening until it was too late to do anything about it. And it was a slow process as well. You know what I mean? It wasn't like it happened overnight. It was over a good year and a half before I eventually just broke one day.
And
Do you look back? Sorry. Do you look back knowing like when it maybe started for you? And
Oh, definitely.
can you see, like, the
the
progression?
most recent one was when my Uncle Joe died. Because my Uncle Joe died, but he had cerebral palsy and I used to look after him, which is how I got into nursing in the first place and stuff. And care work, which I've done for the last 15 years altogether. But he died, and then Lucas was born like a month after it. And I think I wasn't quite, because of that, emotionally I wasn't quite there. So it was such a massive like strain because you've got all this happiness and the sadness and this, and then the hard work because a baby's born. You've got to look after this baby in this life, and then so like within a like, and then I remember I had a massive breakdown at work when somebody came in. They thought I'd had a stroke because I was so grey, and that's when it kind of started, and it just kind of went downhill from there. It went downhill a lot quickly, and then it kind of leveled off a little bit, and then just went. And that was,
so do you find that now you're able to identify like the signs coming and stuff like that, and can you reach out to people easier now, do you feel, or do you think that it's still just as hard? There's those things you've got to do for yourself to keep...
Oh yeah, it's still hard. I mean, that's why I'm lucky my wife's really good for that, because she notices
She can
things.
identify
She
it.
notices that if I'm not right, and she's like on Monday when I was really bad, she was like, you need to just fucking stop. It's like, you're trying to do too much, you're trying to do this and this and this. Because one of the other things is my laptop like broke, so I lost all the work that I'd been working on for the last like year. I thought I'd done a backup, but my backup failed.
Oh no.
So it was one of those moments. I'd been working on like a City of Lost Souls card game and City of Lost Souls issue 7 and all these other things. So all that kind of went, and I was like, fuck. So yeah, but she was like, yeah, you need to just take a break. So I'm taking a break. I'm taking a step back for the comics now because I've lost that. So I'll need to get in the frame of mind. I know I need to get in the mental frame of mind to do that first.
Yeah.
So I'll wait till I get myself mentally prepared. I'll sit down and write that. And then we've been doing the demo, and so I've just been able to just sit down and because I managed to have that, I had the music there. And it's one of those things, like I say, it's as long as I'm doing something creative, whether it's the comics or the music, as long as I've got one of those things, then mentally I'm normally I can get through. I can get through as long as sometimes.
So it is really important to have those conversations and keep that.
Oh no, you need the conversations. You need to have the conversations, because I think I'm quite down with what my mental health's like, and I didn't even notice.
Well, there you go.
You know, I mean, I didn't even notice, and it was my wife that was like, "You're gonna think," and that's when I woke up the next day, because she'd had that conversation with me when I woke up the next day, and I realized, because that was when I was like woke up, I was like, if I lie in bed, that's me.
Yeah.
I realized because we'd had the conversation. If we hadn't had that conversation, I might not have noticed.
Yeah.
And I might have just went back to bed and thought I was just tired.
So
and that's it. So having the conversation you do definitely need to have the conversations, but the problem with mental health conversations in general is they make you feel weak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you do feel weak, regardless of what everyone says, and regardless of all the Movember campaigns and all these mental health campaigns, mental health awareness things that are going on. You do feel weak, even though you're not. I mean, you're not weak, but you do feel it. You feel like you're letting people down.
Yeah. It's identifying that feeling, and I think understanding that it's not actually weakness.
Yeah.
But it's really, like you said, when you're in that position, when you're in that state of mind, that's all you feel is weak and letting people down.
Yeah.
But it's so far away from the actual fact of the situation.
And the thing is, people would much rather you come and ask them for help
Yeah.
than you not be there in their life anymore, or you push them away.
Yeah.
Because ultimately it's your loved ones you're talking about here, or your bandmates, or your best friends, or whatever.
Yeah.
And they want to be there for you, and they want to help you. So it's not like you're a burden, because I think that's one of the things I always felt like when my mental health's bad. I always feel like I'm a burden to people, and that by talking to them, I'm like, oh, sorry to be a downer. It's like, you're not being a downer, just fucking talk to me.
Yeah.
Mate,
No,
that's what you're there for. That's literally why I'm here. It's almost like we've been pals for years, you know what I mean, or whatever. It's like, if we can't go to the pub at the moment and have a drink, because that's what you'd normally do to let off steam. If you're not in the band room or whatever, you'd have the band room, or you'd have the pub, or you'd have go out for lunch or whatever, and just meet up just now and then, just to, even if it's just to check in with people to see how you doing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But it feels, it feels, to begin with, it felt weird, because I took a big massive step back from social media when my mental health went bad.
Yeah.
And because I was messaging people a lot, and I was trying to be there for a lot of people, but in doing that, I wasn't looking after myself. And you need to look after yourself first.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's like I had a Florence Nightingale complex kind of thing. I was just trying to help
Let's
everyone.
save the world.
But by doing that, I was actually being negative. It was having a negative impact on me, because I wasn't actually looking after me. I was just trying to look after other people,
Everybody
as if
else.
deflecting it in some way.
Yeah.
If I make that person feel better, then I'll feel better. But that's not how it works.
Be lovely if it was, because then the world would just be full of happy, helped people. And
Yeah, there would be.
Everyone's secretly miserable inside. But it's just all about trying to. So it was kind of weird to have. So I would just message people now and then on Messenger, even people I haven't spoken to for a while. Like, I was just, how you doing, man? All right, I'm good. Yeah, whatever. Like, and it's just nice to, because I remember there was a thing when on social media when this first started, and it's like there's no excuse to not get in touch with people. There's no excuse for that. And it's like you shouldn't fucking feel bad for doing anything.
Yeah.
If you wake up in the morning and manage to get dressed, that's a fucking big deal right now.
Yeah.
If you message your friend to see if they're okay, that's amazing. But don't worry if you fucking don't.
Yeah, and don't worry if you've not messaged them for 6 months or 8 months, because when you do message them,
they should be there.
They'll still be there for that conversation.
One of my best friends is a guy, Greg, that used to be. He was the bassist in the Blacklights, and I've known him since I was like 16 or something. And we cannot talk for 6 months to 8 months to a year, and it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's why your friends are your friends, especially when you become an adult. But when you kind of when you get older, it's like you've got a life, and they've got a life, and you've got work, and you've got commitments, and I've got kids, and I've got the band, and I've got my comics, and I play D&D on a Tuesday night. You know what I mean? Which has been great. That's a really good thing actually for my mental health over lockdown, because it's mean I've had a social interaction every week on Zoom with like 8 people. And it's like so every week, every Tuesday night, I'm like in a wee room with my headphones on, with fucking like 40 screens. So I need fucking character sheets there and fucking all this kind of stuff. But you know what I mean? It's like it's my only social interaction really.
So it's valuable and it's important.
Yeah, it's totally valuable.
I mean, I think we should start a Trash Panda.
No,
you totally should. By the way,
absolutely.
Totally should. I've just played. I actually ran an Alien RPG the other day. And it was fucking amazing. Right. If I do say so myself. So if you ever want to play it, give me a shout and I'll fucking run Alien for you.
Yeah. Anyone else want to do?
It was really good fun.
We have enough going on. But
no, I mean, like,
that's what my wife always says about me. You've got enough going on.
Yeah.
Calm your pants.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's always time for
just a
for
one-off.
me time.
We'll just do one night. We'll do one night. We'll go online and just go on like.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole idea of this started off as like a one-off, and you're like, it's not a one-off.
No, it's not a thing.
But yeah, do you have going forward? Because obviously you've talked about the social interaction and stuff. So see, because we are now approaching what is hopefully, touch wood, the end.
Yeah.
How do you feel about going back into like socializing and gigs? And is there a kind of
I'm mildly terrified. Yeah, I mean, I get the fear walking around Asda. You know, I mean, because I mean that's the thing. When COVID happened, I remember there was some guy that's an expert on diseases. I can't remember where it was, but I was watching him and he was like saying, we get these diseases all the time. It's just this one's managed to spread really well. But we get these like 15 diseases a year that could be like coronavirus, but they never happen because they're always isolated in such a way that the way the world works, that doesn't necessarily spread like that, or they manage to get it in time or whatever. So, you know, that's always going to be with me. The fact that we've had this year like this is always going to be with you, you know.
Yeah.
And that's not a negative thing, because it's like the good thing of the way to look at that is like there's 15 that they stopped.
Yeah.
And that's just one that came out. You know what I mean? It's like, and if they 15 a year that happen and they always manage to stop them, my whole life they've always had these diseases. Yeah. And this is the only one that's actually come out and done anything bad. That's fucking amazing. Yep. And it shows how amazing science is and how incredible the scientific community is and doctors are and spotting these things.
Well, yeah, everyone keeps comparing it to like Spanish flu. And obviously we had the Roaring 20s after that.
Exactly, so you know.
That wasn't in anyone's lifetime. Well, can someone
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I was working at the care home, this is a really nice story. Basically, when I worked at the care home, there was a woman who got COVID and then she recovered from COVID, and then it was a month later, it was her 100th birthday. So, you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, that was a nice thing. And we had a singer for her birthday and we were all outside and her son came over and everyone was socially distanced and it was a really lovely moment. And thank fuck, because I really needed that lovely moment.
Those have been they're there throughout lockdown, but they have been the ones that have meant the most, I think, is those little moments. Like, it sounds stupid, I went to walk my mum in the graveyard when like we hadn't seen each other and we just sat and had wine in the graveyard because we thought it'd be the only place we could sit and have a wee drink and nobody would judge us, because who would judge us?
Exactly.
And it was so funny. We were sitting there, mum was like, oh, I like this tree, I'm going to get buried under this tree. And I was like, I don't think legally we can. But now we have a requirement because my mum's made that commitment to me in this lovely little afternoon. I'm like, cool, we now have to dig up under the tree and bury your body.
And I mean, the worst comes to worst, you just get the ashes and just put the ashes there, you know what? Less zombies that way.
We're just not going to announce where it is so we don't get arrested for it.
But no, it's, you do appreciate the small moments. And this year's been a year of appreciating small moments, because the small moments, because the thing is, at the end of this, and And with most times in life, you don't remember the bad times. Like you do, you remember the bad times, but in a weird way. The bad times, you just remember it being bad. You don't remember necessarily what happened.
Yeah.
You just remember, like when I look at my depression and I try and remember things, there's whole relationships with people that I know now that I can't remember meeting.
Right.
But I met them during that time. Like it's like a massive blackout. I just remember it was bad. That's about it. But any good time in that period, I kind of remember that a bit.
Yeah.
And I think that's what this is going to be like. You're going to remember the good times.
Just the
You're
good
going to
bits.
remember that time that person messaged you, or that time you went for a wee walk in the park, or the time that the snow went and you went and fucking sledged and fucked your ankle.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But those are the things you'll remember though, because you're like, that was fucking amazing. And I think that the human resilience, if you will, it's what everyone that's got through this needs to give themselves a massive pat on the back, because we are getting through this and we are almost at the end of it. I mean, so to get through this on the other end, and something that's like, as a human, this isn't something we're meant to go through. We're meant to be social. Like from cavemen, they were social. It was packs. It was like, if you go to the animal community, they're all in packs most of the time. Not very few animals just wander about themselves. Like, all right, they're all in packs and, and things, and we're all social beings, and we're meant to be social beings. So to get through this without that, there is a massive achievement, and I think we're going to be just more appreciative of everything we have after it. Appreciative of your friends, and appreciative of even if it's just like coming around for a cup of tea. And I mean, I know I'm going to be going out to see people more often, and I fucking hate people. No, that's but you know what I mean. But like, you know what I mean. I'm going to go out and make sure I make an effort to go and see people. When beforehand I'd be like, I'd love to go out that night, but I can't. I'm tired, and I'll just want to. I'll be like, you know what, this could get like, I've had that taken away from me for a year. So if there's a gig going on, I'll go to the gig. If there's a let's fucking get together for lunch, I'll make sure I'm fucking there. Because I've witnessed, not liking people and not liking going out. It's all good and well when you've got the choice to go out.
When it's taken
but
away.
when it's taken away, it becomes a different thing, because you suddenly realise you do actually like going out, and you do like people, and you actually love it, but you like it in your own terms. So you might, some days your social anxiety might be the extent where you just can't go out that day, and that's fine, because that social anxiety is a massive thing, and I've had it myself often, and you just feel like you can't get up out of bed, you want to go out of bed, your phone's ringing, it's right next to you, your friend's waiting for you, and the phone's ringing, and it makes you feel even worse because you can't physically pick up the phone to answer the phone because you feel that weight on you. But hopefully, that's why we need to talk. That's why you need to open the conversation. Because if your friend knows you've got social anxiety, then they're more capable of going, that's cool, man. It's all right. Don't worry about it.
I love it's so stupid and it sounds really pathetic, but like the actual original Winnie the Pooh books, when you if you ever read them, not that you should read children's books if you don't want to, but it's obviously there's the theory that like each character represents a different mental health issue. And Eeyore's depression, but somebody commented on the fact that Eeyore's always invited, and even though he might not be the happiest little soul in the corner, like he's always there, and his friends don't mind that's his personality. And I think that's one of the cutest little things about that book, and also quite deep for a children's book. I think Disney made it seem less powerful, but
Disney do that. Disneyfy the process, but it's true though, because there's times where you might not feel like going out, but if you go out, you're normally, it could be the worst experience of your life before you get there, but when you get there, it's when you see your friends, it's like, unless the pub's got a weird atmosphere, you're normal. Like, I know it sounds really bad, but like, I know myself, I've been really anxious about going out and not wanting to go out, and then I'm like, I don't want to let them down. I'll just do it. I'll go for an hour, and then next thing I know, it's 2 a.m, and I'm phoning the wife drunk, and because I've missed the last bus.
And the hardest part of the whole night is just taking the first step to
even just getting changed, getting dressed, and that's what you need to break it down as well, in that situation. So you break it down in the sense that, like, right, I'll get a shower, I'll have a shower, see how I feel after it. Right, I'll get dressed, and I'll get dressed like I'm going out. I don't have to go out at this point. I'll see how I feel. I'll go for a walk towards the area where they're all going, or towards the bus stop or whatever, but I don't necessarily have to go in at that point, and then see how you feel. And you might still get to that bar and not go in. You might even not get dressed. You might just have the shower, but you need to appreciate the little bits that got you there, and appreciate the fact that you've tried. And if your friends, if they're your friends, they'll appreciate the fact that you tried. They'll appreciate the fact if you didn't fucking try and you couldn't, and you didn't feel up to it the day, because they just appreciate you. I think that's what people need to realize. Whether it's social anxiety or depression, is your friends appreciate you and they want to be there for you. You need to let them know. And that's the most important thing. You need to let them know. If you're suffering, just say, I'm struggling a bit today. I don't think I'm going to make it out. Or Because we all know everyone. We all know a person that's really bad for saying, "Yeah, I'll be there," and not even messaging to say they're not turning up. So I'm one of those people that do it all the time.
Yeah.
And I've got the intentions of going, but something just happens that day in my head. It's like I just can't physically get the fuck out of to go. You know.
I think that's actually really lovely. I don't know if it's a lovely way to end. Are we always there? Like that friends just care. Like that seems very.
Yeah.
That
Friends,
seems a
friends.
very. Because we're happy to do these episodes and keep catching up again and again. So we'll try to keep them. But yeah, that's a really nice ending. Actually, friends
cool.
just care.
And they do. They do.
So it's a nice reminder.
And it's not just friends, it's you care about other people as well.
Yeah.
And these are two-way streets. Because it's sometimes when you're having the worst day ever, one of your friends is out there having the exact same day as you. And
Yes.
you just got to take it
Strength
down and
together, man.
break it down.
Strength together. I mean, I definitely think I wouldn't have lost as many friends if I was more open about what was going on at the time.
Yeah.
Right.
About what was happening. And I think being open with your friends, because they care about you, they want to be there for you.
Yeah.
And you need to take that into account when you're living your life. You need to remember that your friends don't care if you don't message them for a year. They don't care if you don't message you for 2 years. They don't care if you only see them up at the pub like once in a blue moon. Or they don't give a fuck. They just want to be there for you because they're your friends.
Because there's a reason they were your friends, and they're nice people to start with. And
because if they weren't nice people, they wouldn't be your friends. you wouldn't want to hang about with them because they would be just some asshole that oh fuck, it's that guy.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
You wouldn't be messaging them. They wouldn't be inviting you out in the first place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, that's
So is there anything else that you want to let us know what you've been up to or what you've been doing or any plugs that you
What's
want to
coming
do there? You mentioned recording stuff.
Yeah, so we've been demoing because we're trying to get new work. We're trying to work towards an album eventually. It might be an EP first, maybe some singles first. We don't know, but we've got. When Scott joined the band, and we got our guitarist Naz, when we got into a room. We were only in a room together for like a couple of weeks, but we had this burst of energy of these new people in the band, this new energy, and we're writing all these songs. And we're reworking old songs as well. And then obviously lockdown happened again and we couldn't keep going. So we're working on these things online and we're demoing tracks just now. And they're sounding really good. So we're working towards our next release, whatever that may be.
You got any kind of date in mind?
We've got... Well, for example, the next thing we're definitely doing is we've got a 7-inch single of Gone done. We've actually got it printed up on a white vinyl with this really cool black on black sleeve. It's really nice. We're doing it. We should have been doing the video. It should have been out by now. The video should have been done ages ago, but literally the video is going to be done at the start of December. And lockdown happened. So when lockdown's over, we'll do that. That'll be the video for that. And that'll hopefully tie us over for a month or two, and it'll give us time to then get down to the studio. Because we're wanting to record it the same way, and it's a studio in Worcestershire. You can't even say that. It's like some place. It's a Georgian mansion, and like down. The guy that bought it, really that runs the studio. He made his money doing music videos, so he done like the Faster music video for Manic Street Preachers and stuff like that. So it's really cool. It's really and it's a really awesome atmosphere when you go down. Nick Hayward for Haircut 100 and shit's recorded there and stuff. Which I know sounds daft, but Def Havana recorded there and all these kind of bands. And is it Enter Shikari recorded there as well? I can't remember. But there's all these big bands that have recorded there. So you feel, and you go there and you live there for a week and you record. And it's the best recording experience because you literally live in the studio for a week.
It's like a camp.
That's the best way.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And so that
everyone's
everyone's focused. There's no distraction. You just go down and you record. And having had that experience, that's the one we want to go back.
So where should we keep a lookout for you? Where should
also, sheburnsred.com for all our dates and all our information when I update it, or just check us out on Facebook or Twitter, because I only just updated the pictures this week because I forget I need to do it.
Is there anywhere people can listen to things you've got out already?
So we're on Spotify. We just Take Back Tomorrow is the EP we released last year. We've also got 2 earlier singles. We're also on YouTube. I think it's She Burns Red Band. I think I'm not really 100% sure.
We'll find the links.
Yeah, we'll find the links. And we're on Twitter and stuff like that as well, and Facebook obviously.
You on MSN?
He said
MySpace, Bebo, all that. And then
Bebo's
for my
coming
comic
back.
stuff, I know.
I got an invite code sent to me. I was like, what is this?
I know. Fucking hell. What is this madness? And for the comic stuff, it's grandmasterwick.com.
Right.
And that's kind of like the
highly
one-way
recommend
shop.
everyone to go and check it out.
They're all fucked up horror comics. So if you like messed up horror shit, then that's up your street. And if you don't, like the amount of Comic Cons I'm at where kids come up and I'm like, you can't read any of this shit.
Like, where are your parents?
You need to walk the fuck away from my stall right now. I've literally said that to kids before.
The best comics.
You know,
make them want to read it more though.
I know, exactly. But there was actually one amazing situation where, sorry, I'm keeping on going. There was a kid came up the stall And I was like, I'm not sure. These are a bit horror. And his dad's like, he loves that. And he went and talked to me about horror films for a half hour. And it was the best conversation I ever had. And the kid was like fucking 8. And I literally was just like, just fucking take them. Just take my books. Just there you go.
Well,
and he's like, I've only got a 5. And I was like, well, I'll give you that and that and that. And it was like fucking much more worth much more money than a 5. But I was like, just fucking take them. Because
he'll remember that for the rest of his life.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That was me as a kid. You know what I mean? That was me. I was at the video shop every weekend renting all the videos. So I remember by the time I was 14, I'd watched every film in the horror section. I'd go around to my granddad's house and they would get the banned films for the butcher around the corner and it would be underneath the counter, you know, and it was shit like that, you know. So that was me as a kid. So I love that shit. I love.
I bet that kid's not scared of anything under the bed, so you know that.
No, exactly.
He's making this shit up.
Yeah,
exactly.
But yeah, that was really great. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you.
Really
nice.
We will definitely have you back.
No, thanks, guys.
So that's us wrapped up for another episode of Where's Your Head At. Remember, we've got all our Trash Panda merch. trashpandahq.com/merch. Everything that we sell goes towards doing stuff like this, supporting mental health in your area. We've also got a support service that you can get in touch, slide into those DMs.
Free of charge.
Yep. We've got WhatsApp, phone numbers. Any way you need to contact us, you can get in touch by doing that. There's no pressure. If you want to start a conversation, just get in touch.
And we don't make people do this.
Yeah, and if there's anything you want to hear us talking about next time, stick a wee comment down in the comment section. And yeah, like I said, give us a little share if you liked it. If you don't like it, put a thumb down. It's no problem at all. Yeah, just let us know.
It helps. Thanks very much, guys. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, bye.